Hello, welcome to Everland by Jill. Today I'm going to share with you how my Japanese inspired drawstring bag is coming along. If you've watched my other videos, you know my inspiration is coming from Yoko Saito's drawstring bag, which is in this book here. I'll show you. Look how beautiful her bag is. That's her drawstring bag. Mine is going to look nothing like this. If you've seen my other videos, you know about the fabric I'm using. You know about how I am putting the pieces together and so on, trying to get them lined up. And so I thought I would give you a quick overview and an update, and then I'm going to hopefully finish the front and the back, and then I'll be able to start putting it together. And I think if I wrap it all up into this one video, then this may be the last video that you'll see, because this will be finished then. So we'll see how it goes and how long it takes me to get the rest of the things done. So the front of the bag is going, this is the front. And as you can see, I did add my little red heart. I did my fancy stitching with concentric circles around that heart. And then I did a radiating diagonal across the rest of the front. And I thought it came out really nice. Now I may not be done with this front yet, because as I look at it, I may decide to go back. And you know, I had many little pieces of leftover scraps that I was using when I put these strips together. And I thought, well, maybe I want to put some additional little scraps on here in some way, shape, or form. So I may do that. I may not do it on the front, but I'm going to show you the back, and I may do it on the back. Now, on the back, I couldn't decide what to do. I couldn't decide if I wanted to do additional red circles or make everything. Actually, this is not white. That is a silver gray perle cotton that I used in there. White stood out too much and for me, and so I wanted something a little more subtle, and I had this beautiful gray, so that's what I used. So on the back, I decided to use the silver gray, and then I decided to cross hatch it with red. So the red is hard to see, but there you go. And this took me a while to do all these, and I do have to go back, and I have to take all the little fuzzies off. When you're stitching, and my needle was large because the thread I was using was rather thick, so when I was stitching and I had the batting on the inside stitched through, my holes were a little larger than they needed to be, and I had some of the fuzz from the batting come through, so I have some fuzzies I need to pick off of here. I also made 7 little tabs, and they're small because I want the drawstring to be a little small. What did I use on the inside? Now, the inside doesn't look fantastic. Doesn't have to. I decided just to do the running stitch diagonally for the inside, and I did use a Japanese fabric. I'll bring it up. You can see the pattern in it. It's kind of a crosshatch. Beautiful. Has just a shade of blue-gray, and I love that. So that's what's the inside for the front and the back. Now, when I put these together, when I get ready to put these together, I will straighten up all these edges and across the bottom, straighten up all those edges. I will then put this together, not to worry about the seams on the inside. That isn't going to stay like that. And then these little tab things, I need to get the drawstring, what I'm going to use for that. I have some twine, I have some sari silk. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to use up there yet. Isn't it funny how we start these projects and go, oh, I want to use this fabric, which was where I started. I want to use this fabric. How can I use it? And then I just started looking, and you know, it went from those piles of fabrics into something that's tangible. And let me show you how this is going to, it's a little hard, but this will kind of crunch up here. And then the bottom of the drawstring bag will be down here. And I just think it's going to be adorable. I think it's going to be adorable. So that's the first part of my video today. I'm going to go away. I'm going to work on some of these things I just mentioned. And then when I come back, we'll see where we are. And I'm going to put these little shorter videos together and see if I can't keep it under a certain length of time so that we can understand how I put it together and yet still be mindful that I'm not taking up too much of your time with boring things. So I will be back when I have more to show. Thanks. Okay, so I finished up my little bag except for one thing, which is very, very minor. But let me show you the drawstring bag first. Here's the front. Oh, I just love it. Here is the back. It's very plain on the back, just a little bit of red. My little drawstring strings. Pull it up. Tie a knot. Now, I am going to get some beads to put on the end of these so that they have some nice little beads. I don't have any big enough, and as I said, I'm trying to not buy anything, but I guess I'm going to need... She used glass, what I want to call a little glass disc, like a bead disc thing that holds hers. Can you see that without a glare? So I'm thinking maybe I can find those, and if I can find something like that, I will use that, but I don't have anything right now that works for that. But it's my little drawstring bag. It came out so cute. Now, had I not hand stitched this, it would have been a lot faster, obviously. And the other thing, what were my lessons learned? Because I did have a couple. And you can see her bag here. Oops, that's a very bad picture of it because it's glaring. But there is her bag. And then here is my little bag made with my special Japanese fabrics. And I just love it. So now let's talk about lessons learned. Lessons learned. First of all, if you're not hand stitching, this will go extremely fast. It took me a long time to lay my fabrics down, arrange them, and then hand stitch all of these. I would still do the fancy stitching on top, most definitely. I would still piece the fabrics or do applique on the top. I'm actually thinking about making a wonky bird one to go with my wonky bird Japanese rice bag. But what else did I learn? Well, I learned because a viewer mentioned to me when I was in a quandary over what to use for the interior lining, I had a viewer suggest that I use a dark fabric. And I did use a dark fabric. And you can look down in there and see how dark it is. And I used a Japanese fabric, a dark Japanese fabric. One, I would not use I wouldn't use a precious fabric for the lining, obviously, and I probably could have used something less precious than Japanese fabric. But I did make it a dark color, as suggested by the viewer, because, and her reasoning or her suggestion was offered up because she felt perhaps the lighter lining color would show a lot of dirt and such, depending on what you're going to be using this for. So I did use a dark color fabric inside, and I would do that again. Okay. But the thing I think I noticed the most is I used a heavier weight. I keep going out of shot, and my apologies. I used a little heavier weight batting for the inside. And it's not too thick. I thought it was going to be too thick. This side is actually lovely, and it has batting in it, but I think because it's just a layer of lining fabric, the batting, and a layer of backing, outside fabric, this is just a wonderful thickness, softness. It's very, very lovely. I think this side and these Japanese fabrics are not, it's not like they are thick. They're very thin fabric, but by the time you put the seams over and then sew them down, and so the whole inside gets a little thicker, then this side actually got a little thicker. So overall, then when you scrunch the bag up, of course, I don't mind. It's so cute. I could stand it if if it didn't scrunch at all. Matter of fact, I thought about only putting one string through and just using it as a pull tie, which would have worked also. So I may do that and then put my baubles just on the one end. But the drawstring is kind of nice, so I really like that. And I'm going to look for the 2 oval glass discs for the bottom. So that is kind of that's most of what I learned about this. I wasn't too, I'm not worried if my corners didn't match exactly where they were going to match. And you can see it really didn't matter. Let me go around. Oh, and one other thing. I used 7 tabs across the top. I think I would cut that down to 5. And if I cut it down to 5, I would make them the same size they are now. Because then you'd have one on each end. Let's open the top. So, okay, you'd have one on each end, and then you'd have one in the middle, and then you'd have like one here and one here. And I think that would be plenty, although I put 7 on because they were so small. So let me know what you think. This wraps up the Beyond Boundaries Yoko Saito inspired drawstring bag. I just had so much fun making it. I think this is going to be a Christmas make for me coming up this year in 2026. So I will be putting some together to set aside for some gifts that I've got coming up this year. So I appreciate you taking time to watch my videos for this. And I will be coming back with another special, I think, Beyond Boundaries. I think I'll do another Beyond Boundaries stitch project shortly and put it in the same playlist. Yes, in the same playlist. So you can look for that coming up, and I will be giving an opening introduction to that project and so on. So in the meantime, I hope you do something you love. I sure did. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next time.